You're listening to Viking Radio, coming to you from Dream Street Studios at Del Mar College. Now your host, Dr. Natalie Chapa.
Good morning, Corpus Christi. This is Dr. Natalie Chapa, and I am here with Mr. Mike B.
Mike B. reporting for duty.
Mike B. on the side mic this morning. Now, we've got a really interesting group of individuals here with us today. We have actually a visitor coming in from the Rio Grande Valley, as we like to call it here, the 956 RGV, Mr. David Ortiz. But then we also have with us from the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Center, Miss Sarah Tindall, and visiting over here, also Miss Michelle Unda, who doesn't have a mic, surprisingly. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for being here because this is a really special time right now because there are a lot of really amazing collaborations happening here in the Coastal Bend. And Mike and I, when this show started, we didn't mean for it to happen, but all of this positivity kept coming from people. As we know, there's a lot of challenges right now in the city with our local politics, with, H2O. But we keep finding every time we talk to somebody some really great stories.
That's right.
Mike? Just
Mind-blowing.
mind-blowing stories of the collaborations that are happening out there for the community. So I would love to talk about that today with y'all. So David, talk a little bit about why you're here, why you're in Corpus Christi with the CCRADC coming from the UTRGV, the 956.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to be here and talk to your audience and to the team here. It's very exciting to be in the Coastal Bend area in Corpus specifically because I think the momentum that we are creating with the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Corporation is just amazing. I mean, we started working together last year, and just to give you the reason why I'm here, if it's okay, I'll talk about the program just a little bit. So I represent the Texas Manufacturing Assistance Center,
Yes.
South Texas region. So
South Texas region,
Yeah, so we
correct.
have 7 different regions throughout the state. The South Texas region, we cover the RGV, but we also cover the Coastal Bend area.
Nice.
So we started the effort, of course, through great partnerships to serve small and medium-sized manufacturing companies. So we have been exploring different resources. We have been exploring resources, services that we can provide to manufacturers. And so we're going to have an event in about 2 weeks. So we're here coordinating, planning to bring all the great stuff for our manufacturers.
And this is all just really exciting, again, talking about the positive growth, not just here in the area, but like you said, this is a regional thing, but it's also coming in from the state, right? But you talk about manufacturing. So for our audience out there, when we talk about, because that's a big key word right now, what does that mean for our audience out there when we talk about manufacturing jobs and opportunities?
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things that's happened nationwide over the last 20 years or so, but also most particularly here in the Coastal Bend, is that the impetus to bring manufacturing back on shore has been happening, and it's provided a lot of exciting opportunities for growth in areas that we have not seen in America in a really long time. The decline started in the 70s, but we're seeing an acceleration of impact, and that is something that we have missed in our kind of nationwide economy. And so seeing it come to Corpus has been wonderful, but also let's admit we've always been good at this, right?
Yes.
From the industries who came here through the 70s and 80s and built the facilities that we've had, that has provided an economic stability that I think other cities have been envious of. We don't have the big boom and bust cycles that others do because we have that very stable manufacturing base here. Did we have an oil bust in the 80s? Yes,
Yes.
we did, but we still had this very stable group of industries that have kind of kept us just hopping along. And so now we're seeing that because there was all of that growth out in the Permian and Eagle Ford basins that brought all of these new opportunities here with all of the oil and gas that have come. We've seen growth in other sectors. Gulf Coast Growth Ventures is a great example. Steel Dynamics is a great example. And so that manufacturing base that was always there has kind of expanded into these new industries. But when we talk about manufacturing, we're not just talking about those big sectors.
Yeah, talk about
right?
what that also manufacturing entails.
Yeah,
besides
so
that.
you have to think about all of the folks that are doing the activities that are necessary to support those
To
industries.
support the manufacturing industry.
Yeah, so Cantwell Mattress is a great example of a
Okay.
local manufacturer, right? They've been making mattresses here for
You can't well sleep.
without
I can't well
Right.
mattress. I know we all said it. Yeah.
Yeah, so if anyone hasn't done the drive up, Leopard Street through that manufacturing corridor, you should, because there are tons of companies there who are making things and have been doing it for a really long time. My husband works at CC Gaskets. CC Gasket sells gaskets and fasteners to. See my New Orleans accent coming out right there?
I heard it.
Gaskets and fasteners. Can your company change its name? Obviously, it's making me look bad.
Actually, it makes you look very cool.
But so they're out there
Some great
welding
examples,
and doing some
yes.
things. But then you have lots of folks out there who are engaged in this industry that are employing 100, 200, 300 people here that are not the big names that you would always think of. So our reason for the growth has been a lot of access to what we need to make it happen, energy. But the biggest thing is the workforce.
The workforce.
I was just going to say
which
that.
is
Yes.
which is where the manufacturing center comes in, right,
Yes.
Davi? And coming again out of the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley campus. And so, where does this fit in for you? What is the center doing?
So what we bring is three main things. We bring training and development, customized training for our manufacturers. Number two is certifications. When a company wants to sell to a new market or get into a new market or sell new products, in some cases, these clients need the manufacturer to be certified in certain things. Like, for example, ISO 9001, TS certification in the automotive industry, AES certifications in the aerospace industry. If there's someone pursuing, let's say, a contract with the Department of War, let's say, or with government contracts, in some cases they require for them to have, for example, the ITAR registration, which
Okay.
is the International Trade in Arms registration through the Department of State, right? So in order for them to be able to get into those markets, to become more capable, they need to go into assessments, they need to get audited, they need to get and put pretty much the processes together to
And
be
so,
able to do
does
that.
the center help a company with all of
Yes.
that? Because that's a lot of paperwork. That's a lot of certification. A lot of
Yes.
a lot of detail.
A lot of detail, and also takes good technical skills to be able to do that. So throughout the state, we have about 40 field engineers that help companies achieve that. Right.
Okay.
So we have different centers throughout the state. We, of course, represent the UT-RGV, South Texas region, but we also have TMAC centers at the University of Texas in Arlington, UT El Paso, Texas Tech University, University of Houston, the Lamar Institute of Technology in the Beaumont area, and the Southwest Research Institute in San Antonio.
Very nice.
So we can tap into different technical skills from all these different centers depending on where the need is. So if there's a company in Corpus, let's say, that needs any of these certifications I mentioned, if we don't have it at UTRGV, we can bring a field engineer from these other universities and
To help
regions
out that company.
To help out, yes. And then finally, the third service is the technical assistance. It's actually rolling the sleeves, going to the production floor, understanding what the supervisors are doing, what the operators are doing, what kind of equipment they have, what kind of processes they have as well, and to be able to provide the best solution to these teams of people.
Okay. So, what does this do? An organization like this, the Manufacturing Center, what does this do for CCREDC?
So the way that we can recruit new businesses here and also expand the ones that we currently have is by making sure that the workers are trained, and that they have the resources that they need to get those folks into their production lines. So we need to make sure that all of this training exists, so that we can look forward to the new companies that we want to bring here. And so the defense manufacturing space is a great example of that. As we've, as a community, talked about opportunities at the Army Depot at CCAD, we think that the Army is, kind of retooling what they would
Right.
like to be done there.
Okay.
And so if they start to expand their product lines or take on new product lines, having this workforce training, so that they are capable of doing that quickly and easily gives us a competitive advantage, and that's how you land those projects.
I'm glad you bring that up because right now I think the general community is hearing a lot about CCAD, what's going on. We had we just talked to Rod Benson, again another great partner with Del Mar College, and so I think it's good for our community to know that there is work out there. There are these conversations and big pushes to what can we do here at the base? How can we transition? And they're working on that. And how even programs like this are coming in to help and support all of that work. That's significant. Yeah.
And it all depends on which stage these companies are, right? Because you mentioned a great example, CCAD. I mean, they've been in the area for many years, and they've been adopting emerging technologies, including AI. So
yes.
we had the chance to work with Sarah and Michelle to provide CCAD some training a couple of weeks back on AI. So basically, they're implementing prompt engineering into their inventory management process and production process to help their operators and supervisors use these tools to better calculate, for example, forecasting and other tools needed in the manufacturing setting. Now, that's one example, but also we have the smaller companies that, in some cases, it's slower for them to adopt these technologies. So basically, it all depends on where the company is, right? In some ways, sometimes we start with simple tools for smaller companies,
Yes.
so they can understand, for example, what the best hiring process they can follow when they need a technical skill, let's say a supervisor. Sometimes what happens is that a supervisor gets promoted because that person is a great operator,
Right.
but they're not necessarily a great supervisor.
A great supervisor,
So we
right.
need to
That's a
provide them
different
the
skill
tools.
set.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we need to provide them the tools to be able to convey, let's say, metrics to
Yes.
the operators, to be
Yeah.
able to measure people, to talk to people, to problem solve when there's an issue on the floor as well.
We've
So
got a
all those
bachelor's
different
degree
things.
program for that.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
BAS,
And so,
organizational
we do.
management and leadership.
So, how does a community college like Del Mar that's in the area kind of help support what's going on with the manufacturing center and the CCRDC in this work?
You guys have been the best partner. I think that we use our partnership with Del Mar as an example all over the country when we talk about how to accelerate the growth of jobs in your area by accelerating your workforce training programs. When Del Mar leans in and says, hey, what new industries are coming here, and let's stand up the training so that when they start operating, the workers are ready to go. That's actually not something that you see everywhere. In fact, we're kind of a great example of how that is done the best. And so I think all of this kind of works together to create this ecosystem where the industries that we have here, the manufacturers, are as supported as possible so that they are able to be as adept and forward-looking and moving forward as possible, which means that they not only come to the Coastal Bend, but they stay in the Coastal Bend and they grow in the Coastal Bend. So especially when you talk about upskilling current workforce.
Significant.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because the conversation lately has been especially we've got the two amazing 4-year regional universities here with Texas A&M University Corpus Christi and Texas A&M University Kingsville, and that we don't see each other as we're getting in each other's way or competition, because there's so much work to be done that we see each other as collaborators and partners. And there's so much going on in South Texas from San Antonio down. So I really like that this region has been set up this way. So there's more of a collaboration, right? Coming from the UTRGV and coming in, it's a big area. And it's different, right? There's a lot of different things happening in the 956. But also there are a lot of similarities that you can work the area equally. We'll be right back.
This is where you want to be, to dream, to grow, to graduate and succeed. This is Oso Creek Campus at Del Mar College, home to core classes and signature programs with cutting-edge labs and state-of-the-art facilities. This is a place of innovation, transformation, and support. This is your time, your future. This is where you belong. Learn more at dmcdreams.com.
This show is a production of Del Mar College, where advising and registration are underway for fall 2026 classes. Earn a certificate, associate's degree, or bachelor's degree for your dream career. Visit delmar.edu/registration. This is Viking Radio.
And for our audience out there, again, we have the famous Miss Sarah Tindall with the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Center, Chief Operating Officer, correct? COO. Talking about the great collaboration happening here in the Coastal Bend regarding manufacturing. And with that, we have a great guest coming in from the Valley, Mr. David Ortiz, coming in with the Texas Manufacturing Assistance Center out of the UT Rio Grande Valley College. So again, thank y'all so much for being here. This is very interesting work. And so I want to shift a little bit, David. How does somebody get into this type of work where you are collaborating and helping a region in this way? Because it's big picture work, but it's very collaborative and very strategic. How did you get into this?
You know, I think we are in times where it's going to be very hard to achieve economic growth. If we don't work as a team, it's going to be very hard. I think
Absolutely.
There's a need to better understand the ecosystem that we have, right? I mean, we have economic development entities, which in this case, we have the great team at the Corpus Christi Regional EDC. We have regional EDC entities as well that oversee not just certain cities, but they oversee regions as well. COSTEP in South Texas is a good example of that. We have also other entities like that work to provide funding to these organizations like the Texas Workforce Commission and Workforce Solutions, right?
Excellent.
That really improve and help to upskill personnel, right?
Another
These
great collaborator in the
Exactly.
area, Workforce Solutions of the Coastal
Yes.
Bend here. Okay.
We have the colleges, right, that do a great job. In this case, we've been building a great partnership with Del Mar College, with Dr. Corpus, with Robert Mirabal from Apex, with Dara Betts, and that we've been working on implementing and developing an advanced manufacturing program for the Coastal Bend area as well.
Yeah, and shout out to Dean Corus and Dara and Robert out there. I'm glad you bring that up, because they are a strong part of the team at Del Mar College as to why we are so nimble and why we're flexible and responsive. So thank you for giving them a shout out.
They're doing an amazing work, and I think It's going to take some extra effort from all the partners to really be able to. We try our best to see the picture at the macro level, as far as what each of us bring to the table to better serve the community and better serve these manufacturers. We also have the Texas A&M Autonomous Research Institute that we visited.
Yes.
About 2 months ago, they came down to the valley to also visit us.
Okay.
To talk about some potential research opportunities in collaboration. So once we understand that level, the question is, okay, how can we improve the economic level of these companies, right? So there's as far as TMAC, there's 4 metrics or 4 impact areas that we look into, which is new investments, which I think align with other organizations such as
the EDC.
We have job creation and job retention. We have also cost savings for the company, and what's the innovation level of innovation that the companies bring, to the table as well. So every time we do a project, the success of the center or the partners is measured, in our case, by the U.S. Department of Commerce, because we're partially funded through the U.S. Department of Commerce and NIST. And the way they measure us is by those 4 metrics. So basically, the manufacturers get a survey from the federal government, and they report back those impact numbers.
I'm glad you brought that up. So there's federal investment involved in this type of work. Is it federal and state, or is it like federal coming through the state? Because you also said Texas Workforce Commission is supporting. So is it a little bit of both, or is it really federal monies that is kind of, supporting this work?
Yeah, so there's the federal portion covers about 50% of the cost, and we have some state line items to cover other percentages. And so that makes the pricing for the manufacturers very competitive compared to the private industry. And that allows also the different institutions, and in our case, TMAC, to navigate, these different services without thinking about, the, revenue to be the end goal.
Yes.
Really, the success of the center and the partners really rely on the success of the manufacturers and those impact numbers.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, David, you travel all over the state, right? How does this region stack up compared to other regions as far as manufacturing?
I've seen some amazing things. I was able to visit the craft center with Dr. Wayne as well.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Del Mar. Also, we have worked with some manufacturers here in the region, like HEB, American Chrome, CCAT, and the level of commitment that I see in the Corpus Christi area is off the charts.
So you're seeing lots of potential
yes.
for an upswing, right?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
All these different partnerships that you have and that we have here in the Corpus Christi areas are amazing in terms of technical skills and in terms of providing the service to the companies, right? I mean, that's a common factor that I see from all the different partners, is that I think we care about the community and we care about the manufacturers. Everybody wants to help, right? And for us, coming from the Valley, and when we started these conversations with Michelle, with Sarah, with the teams, with Dean Chorus, everything I have found is just openness to to participate, to collaborate, and help.
I'm a 50,000 foot view person. That's just where my brain is. And I always think in strategy. And it always gives me comfort to know that everybody's talking to each other. One of the things that frustrates me is when things are trying to get done, but everybody's isolated or doing their own thing. And so I really appreciate your work, and that it brings everybody together and everybody to the table, which I love.
If I can ask both of you, would you look into your crystal ball?
Pull out the crystal ball, Mike.
What do you think is next? What do you think is coming? What do you think is big on the horizon?
Ooh, good question. Who's going to answer? Sarah.
Yeah. We like to talk about how growth doesn't just happen. It happens because a community has planned for it and anticipated it and looked ahead to see what was coming next. So every 5 years, we conduct a targeted industry survey. We bring in consultants. They do asset mapping for the area, and then they also look at which companies they see and which sectors they see will be doing new advancements, new projects over the next 5 years. And so I have a 200-page document that talks a lot about where Corpus is and where it will be going. But I think we're going to continue to see growth in the steel sector. We're going to continue to see growth in the manufacturing, especially using the materials that we have here. We're going to see perhaps pharmaceutical manufacturing is on the horizon. You saw that President Trump this week declared that he's going to start putting a 100% tariff on generic pharmaceuticals coming into the country in 2 years. We already have a facility here that's making most of the ibuprofen that Americans buy.
For North America.
And so,
Really?
yeah, so there's an opportunity there. Shipbuilding has come up. The feds have decided they're going to spend a fortune onshoring shipbuilding here in America, and we know that we're a fantastic place for that. So you saw that Kiewit made that announcement this week that they will be doing some component manufacturing for the shipbuilding industry at their site over in Ingleside. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. CCAD, I think, will do some new and exciting stuff in the defense space as well that we're really excited about and looking forward to. Michelle, what am I missing?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot right there. And this is, I like this is something for you. You're in the middle of all of this.
Yes.
Kind of helping to facilitate and grow and support this work.
Exactly. And since also we follow the directives of NIST, they do surveys also in Texas at the national level as well. And something that we see coming, adding to everything that Sarah just mentioned, I think, which it's spot on, is rare minerals, which I think is going to be big.
That came up,
right?
yeah.
I mean, we're seeing now that we don't use the term CPU when we talk about computers. We use the term GPU. Now, when you have computers that are more in demand, that are going to have to or need to handle AI agents, and there's going to be a need for an increase in
which that word keeps thrown around. But I mean, our industry partners are coming to us saying we need a skilled workforce that knows how to utilize AI, right? Yes. And so that is something that we continue working on. You mentioned an event earlier. Let's talk a little bit about that as we kind of wrap up here. Talk about the event, what's going on with that.
So one of the things that we've been promoting, and that we've been not just in this event, but in any event we have, is we try to listen to the manufacturers more and more, right? Okay. So we're promoting an event on August 5th, which is going to include an informative session on the different partners that we have here in the region. So this event is, of course, promoted and organized by the Corpus Christi Regional EDC, by Del Mar College, and TMEC. Yes. So we're bringing the manufacturers to pretty much present the resources that we're talking about today, right? Just to create the awareness here in the region. And then that's the first day. That's August 5th. And then August 6th, we're going to have a panel discussion and a roundtable, basically to have companies tell their story, right? Have companies tell the success story. Excellent. But also to listen more.
And to listen.
Yes,
yeah,
to listen
so
and
key.
Listen. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's, again, it makes me excited, and I'm proud to live in a community where we are doing some really positive things. Thank you, Sarah from CCRDC. Thank you, Davi, for joining us today from UTRGV with some really exciting news about all the amazing work and the collaboration that's being done here in the Coastal Bend in the South Texas region. Corpus Christi, I hope you have a good rest of the day. Mike B. and I are off to see what other kind of trouble we could get into at Dream Street Studios at Del Mar College.
I'm following your lead, Dr. Natalie.
And with that, have a great day, Mike B.
Adios. This show is a production of Del Mar College. Follow us on Spotify at Viking Radio.